First things first, my skin has already been washed and prepped, so I'm just gonna go in with this little mask that I love. I don't know if these are discontinued or not, honestly. I have been buying them online. This is the L'Oreal Pure Clay Mask. There is one that's like seaweed based, I believe, and I'm pretty sure this is the red clay mask. I love this just for a little detox of the skin. Oh, these masks are really great because they are drugstore price, so if you don't feel like dropping, 50. Oh my god, not on my favorite sweatshirt. That sucked. But these are drugstore masks. They retail from anywhere from about $11 to about $13. Just that's what I've paid for them in the past. But okay, that was enough about what I am slathering on my face right now. Let's start getting into this as I detox my skin, because we are here to multitask. So the last time I posted, I believe I was in Vancouver, BC, and I was telling you all about all the trips that I had coming up for the rest of that year. I think it's very important to preface that all of this did in fact happen. One thing about me, I'm absolutely positively going to do everything that I said I was going to do. I told y'all, I was like, I'm gonna go to Hawaii, I'm gonna go to Vegas. I did go to Hawaii, I did go to Vegas, and I even filmed those trips. I don't think they were filmed well, first of all. Full disclosure, I am a perfectionist, and it's very hard, especially with social media and stuff, when you don't feel proud of something, to put it out there anyways, which is something that I have been working on this year. Just like, it doesn't have to be perfect, people don't need perfect, they need what is real. Like, it does not have to be perfect for you to post it, as long as it is authentic, as long as it is real, because I think people I'm sure all of us can resonate with that a lot more than we can resonate with perfection. Like, of course, everybody posts the best parts of their life on social media, and it's a little harder to feel good posting about the things that you just think could have turned out better. It's harder to be okay with that level of transparency, but that is what I want my content to be about. Like, that is the biggest takeaway that I have had in this time where I'm not been posting. It's okay to talk about the hard things, and it is okay to have that level of transparency online, even though it may not be what everyone else is doing. Like, this is what I want my niche to be and what I want to carve out for myself. But yes, so that was 2022, went to Hawaii, went to Vegas, had a great time. 2022, the end of the year, was the beginning of a very long, stressful period of my life. It was the beginning of my senior year of college, end of the year, beginning of my senior year of college. It was when I started independent contract work, which I did not intend to start doing, but at the end of 2022, I started working as an independent contractor in digital marketing, among many other things. And that led to me starting my consulting business, because I was taking on all this independent contractor work and then leveraged that into my small business, my consulting firm. And I worked on that all of 2023, essentially. Like, I was only doing independent contractor work, and that within itself was stressful. Senior year aside, that within itself was super stressful, because it's up to you to find your next job. You know what I mean? Your next job is not guaranteed. You do not have stable employment in independent contractor work. You got to be out there, hitting the streets, hitting the pavement to make sure you have income. Of course, I was traveling during this time, so I needed income. I needed money. and I was still in school. It was my senior year, and my employment was very unstable, which was stressing me out on top of all the other things that were stressing me out during this time. So I was not going to graduate in 2023 when I graduated, because I'm talking to my advisor and all of a sudden he's like, you're behind on your credits. And I'm like, there's no way I'm behind on my credits. That's insane. He's like, no, you are. And I was like, no. I don't even know how many credits I was in the last semester of my senior year. I literally was in so many credits that not only did I have to get special permission from like the dean of students to take that many credits, I also had to pay extra because I was that far over my credit limit. So I was pushed to the max at this point, stress-wise. My mental health was full-blown deteriorating. Like, I did not have the capacity for anything else in between work and school. And again, the lack of stability that was even within my employment. Like, I spent, I want to say 3 or 4 months in 2023 unemployed, and that may not seem like a long time, but that was the longest I had been unemployed in the past 4 years. So that was super hard for me, because what had been providing me with the lifestyle that I was living was my employment. So to be without that, even though I had savings, even though I had a bit of a cushion, it really made me concerned for the future, for what was to come, because I had already booked my trips. The way I travel so much is I book everything super far out. So by May, I no longer have a job. Stopped having a job in April. I thought I would have had a new job in May. So I was like, we're going to go ahead and book this trip that we're going to go on at the end of August now, while prices are still low. Just hope for the best and everything will figure itself out. That trip was Jamaica, but let me backtrack a little bit. I walked for graduation in May 2023. I do have, I think, footage of that. I don't know if I should insert. I may or may not insert some footage of my graduation here. We will see what I can find, what I can dig up. That was May 2023. I was still in classes after that. Because of what happened with my credits, I didn't actually end up graduating, finishing all my courses and my credits until the summer. But at my school, we only have graduation in spring and in winter. So May and December, literally, there was no point in me waiting till December to graduate. My advisors agreed, everybody agreed that would be kind of ridiculous. So I walked in May. I still had classes. I was in classes till the end of July. But yes, that is when I finally finished up. In May, I booked Jamaica, the trip that I wanted to take as a little pre-birthday celebration. And in the end, I will say this just to preface everything that I'm about to tell you guys. Everything did turn out fine. I will say this, I am now sharing all this because I'm in a much better position now as far as my mental health and even my career stability, which we will get to all that further along the story. But my tiny chaotic tale is being shared in a place where I am now feeling better about things, but also, as I said before, because I do want to be more transparent and more open about what's happening in my life and give a full this is what it is, as opposed to just this is what all the best parts. It's still a work in progress. Like, things are so much better. I feel so much better. It's not where I want them to be though, if that makes sense. So yes, I booked the trip to Jamaica in May. We went to Jamaica in August. I did some other things in the summertime, but they're just going to be significantly less interesting to y'all. So I'll do a quick little recap of places I traveled in 2023. I went down to the Oregon coast because I live in Washington. It's just a little drive down. I went to LA because that's where I go quite often. I think I went back to Oregon, but to Portland instead of the coast. And then I went to Jamaica and I went to Vegas, and I'm definitely forgetting about some other place that I went, but that's fine. That was essentially what I did 2023. It was really, really great. I had a great time. It was nice to have that freedom to travel because I was really concerned that this year, when I was working full time, I would not have that same flexibility and freedom to travel and be doing the thing that I enjoy so much. So I was like, let me be outside in 2023, and that was amazing. I did vlog only Jamaica, but it's not the best vlog. I'm gonna be honest. I might throw in a little 60-second montage in this video just so y'all can see how it was, because I loved that trip. It was honestly one of the greatest trips of my life. It was amazing. I'm so grateful for that experience. Being from the Pacific Northwest, like obviously it is very rare that I am in a situation where people who look like me are the majority as opposed to the minority. It wasn't the first time that I had experienced in my life. I had been in situations before where I was able to experience that, and that's really great. Like I love what that does for me from a cultural perspective, but obviously this was my first time going to a predominantly Black country, so that was amazing. I loved it. I loved it so much. Honestly, I've been telling everyone to go. People have been expressing some concerns, some fears about going with the travel advisory and everything, but I will say it's not like the US. And what I mean by it's not like the US in Jamaica, as soon as anyone, and when I say anyone, I mean anyone, like people who own the local shops that the tourists were shopping at, people who we just met while we were out and about, the second they realized that we were foreigners, which was quite obvious to them. But the second people realized that we were foreigners, they just became super concerned with our safety and well-being at all times. So just the awareness of you're not from here, we want to make sure that you're okay, we want to make sure that you're good, and we don't take on responsibility for strangers in that way in America. Like if somebody is visiting in America, the vibe is kind of sort of good luck. Like, hope nothing bad happens to you, but good luck. Nobody's going to do anything to prevent anything bad from happening to you. So I was really just amazed by how deeply compassionate and empathetic and kind everyone was to total and complete strangers. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And we don't have any experiences that are even comparable to that in America. Because when I say people went out of their way to make sure that we were great, I mean, when we would go into town to go shopping and stuff, even the people who worked at the shops, like they would be walking around with us just to make sure that we were okay. And this is what they told us. This is not an inference. They were just like, yes, I don't want you to think anything's wrong or anything like that, but we're just gonna stick with you, make sure you're all right, because we were a group of young women traveling by ourselves. So they were like, yeah, no, just in case. We'll be here. Every time we got back to our hotel, the front desk would call us just to be like, you know, you went out on an excursion. We just wanted to make sure that you had made it back okay and that everything was all right. And we were like, oh my gosh, like, why? This is amazing. So personally, I felt super safe the entire time I was there. And maybe these are things that are being done because people are aware of the travel advisories. They're aware that tourists are being discouraged from coming. So they are now trying to make it a safer environment for that purpose. I'm not sure, but I had the best experience, so I definitely recommend that everybody goes. I loved it. I loved it. Like one of my top 3 favorite places in the entire world. It was fantastic. Okay, I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm a little crusty right now, so I am gonna go ahead and wash this off. I'm going to be using my Murad Environmental Shield Essential C Cleanser. This is the travel size one. It's just what was closest to me right now, so that is what I'm going to use. And then I'm gonna go in and get all this together. Now I have all the mask off, and just to make sure that it really is off, I'm gonna go in with my Drunk Elephant micellar water. This is the milky micellar water, and I love this because it's really moisturizing and hydrating, and I have super dry skin. Just getting back into what's been happening after Jamaica. I went to Vegas for my 23rd birthday. That was amazing. That was a time. Might also insert just a quick little 20 seconds of that, really brief. And then as we are talking about all the great things that I did in this time, I just want to revisit challenges as well, because I honestly really struggled in 2023. 2023 was a really hard year for me, and at the end of it, I made a post on my social media, and I was just like, I want to disclose to everyone how hard this was, because I know how it looked online, and then I also know what it was like. And that resonated with a lot of people, which was part of the thing that pushed me back into, you need to get back into content creation. Like, it is important that you tell people about this. It is important that people are aware of what's going on, even when things look a certain way, even when they look happy-go-lucky. Like, we're all going through our own stuff, you know what I mean? And in fact, one of the hardest things that I dealt with in 2023 as it related to my stress and everything else was just the way my weight was fluctuating, because I was really stressed out, and my stress only got worse the more the year progressed. The further we got into the year, the more stressed out I became, because the more things just began to fall apart. I already said I was unemployed for a little bit, and then I secured employment, and I was like, oh, this is going great. I had got a contract, and my contract was either going to be for 6 months or 1 year. And the company was basically like, we know it says 6 months to a year, but prepare yourself for 1 year, because everyone else who has held this contract before you, it's been a year that they've kept this contract. And so I'm like, okay. this is really, really great. Like, this takes a whole lot of stress off of me. I have secured employment for essentially the next year. This is what they've told me. So I am rehabilitating my finances. And even though my mental health is still a bit of a mess, I'm like, things are getting better. They're on the up and up. And around, I would say October, like right after my birthday, everything just went. So the Cliff Notes version of everything that happened was after my birthday, because this had been a goal of mine, I think since the last time you guys saw me on camera, which was a while ago, I really wanted to buy my dream car. I'm putting dream car in quotes because it's not my dream car, but it's the car I wanted right now for this stage in life. Like, my dream car is some super expensive sports car, but for where I am now, I was like, this is the car that I absolutely positively want. And I was able to purchase that car ultimately, so that's great. Let me tell y'all about everything that happened in between. So first things first, I knew purchasing this car was going to be a stretch financially, but I really wanted to do it because I had been wanting to buy this car for so long, literally since 2022, the last time you guys saw me on camera. And so 2023 is rounding out to a close. I was like, I'm not going to go into 2024 without having accomplished a major goal for myself. I need to buy this car. But like, at the end of the day, I'm going to finance anyway, so just do it. Right? This was my perspective on it. So I crunched the numbers and I realized it would be tight, but I could do this if I made a large enough down payment. So that's what I did. I took a little bit of a risk. This is my toner. This is the same toner I have been using since the last time y'all saw me. You already know the Lancome Tonique. Is this Comfort? That is an N, not an M, just to clarify. I love this toner. It's super hydrating. I don't find that in a lot of toners. Again, I have the driest skin of life, so anything that is ultra moisturizing, hydrating, I'm dealing with. And I love how smooth this makes my skin feel. I bought the car, I took a leap of faith, and I was like, let's do it. The same day I went to purchase my car, I had the worst health scare of my life. I mean, literally, I left what I thought was going to be a routine checkup, and I am in the car bawling on the phone with my mother. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I feel like this is potentially not life ruining, but has completely altered the way that I perceive life and look at life, because now I'm having to take into consideration a bunch of things that I was not thinking about at the age of 23. Like, none of this was on my radar, and I don't know what to do. This is very frightening. And I have all these follow-ups with the specialist. Like, I just didn't. It was too much. It was too much. Then the very next day, after I made this major purchase, and I've gotten this like world-shattering news, I get into my weekly one-on-one with my boss, and she's like, well, boss isn't exactly the right word when you're an independent contractor, but you know, direct supervisor, the person who checks in on your work, make sure you're doing everything you need to do and meeting all your deadlines. And she lets me know that there is no longer a budget supported for my role. I mean, so seriously, like so literally, when I say the day after I bought this car, now I'm going in with a little vitamin C serum. Well, actually First, I'm going to go in with this Clinique Moisture Surge facial spray because I just like to do that. And then I'll go in with the serum and my eye cream. So yes, the day after I buy this car, I make the biggest purchase of my adult life, I'm finding out that my contract is being terminated, effective the end of the year. So I have literally until December to keep working and find a new job. Luckily, I had already been applying for positions because I was not working full time at this point. I was working, I'd say, anywhere from 20 to 35 hours a week. It did fluctuate. I decided I should just seek full-time employment because with independent contractor work, you are not eligible for benefits. You are not eligible for a bunch of the things that come with full-time employment. Like, I don't get OT as an independent contractor. So I was just ready to hang that up and go back to working for a traditional company, especially because taxes when you are an independent contractor child is a lot. So I was like, this was a great side hustle when I was in college. I don't know if I want to do this full time. Let me start looking for work, start securing employment. So when she told me this, it wasn't good news, obviously, but it also was not the end of the world because I already had started searching for full-time employment. When I decided to search for full-time employment, I decided I did not want to work in digital marketing anymore. It had been really great, but the thought of doing that 40 hours a week in perpetuity, it did not interest me enough. And I knew what did interest me is something that I did when I was younger, which is event coordination. So I was like, let me look for event coordination roles, and that'll be how I pivot back into traditional full-time work, is through event coordination. And I honestly am so glad I made that decision. But we're still writing the hot mess express at this point in our story, so bear with me a little bit. Then what I just slathered all over my eyes, it's the Clinique All About Eyes eye cream. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. All About Eyes eye cream. Love that. Honestly, I use a lot of Clinique. I swear by it. I really do. I don't think we hype up Clinique enough because what they're doing over there, it's working. It is working. It's working for me at least. So there's that. And that is precisely why we are going in with Miss Clinique again. Do you see how big this is? Hold on. Give me 1 sec. Because when I say I swear by this stuff, this is the full size, okay? This is my travel size. It's the one I take with me whenever I go on trips and stuff. First of all, I have about 5 of these. I hoard them. When my friends come, I give them out as gifts and stuff because this is it. This is it. If you have dry skin, if you have sensitive skin, you need this moisturizer in your life. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a little pricey. But it's worth it. So I'm going to generously slather this all over my face. This is their Clinique Moisture Surge 100-hour auto replenishing hydrator. Yes. Oh my goodness. Just even the way it glides on, it feels amazing. So, yes, where were we? Riding the hot mess express. I am interviewing for all sorts of positions, and let me know for my college age girlies if any of you want a job prep, job search, job readiness video, because I did one work in professional development for 1.5 years, and also I didn't realize how well I was interviewing and how much success I was having in my job search journey until I started talking to my friends and seeing things on social media. People have been struggling to get interviews, and I wasn't even aware of that. But in this current market, people were struggling to get interviews, and I was personally feeling discouraged because I kept getting interviews, but I wasn't getting the job. And I was like, oh my goodness, I keep getting called back for first and second and third round interviews. So I know I'm interviewing well. I know I'm a good candidate. Can somebody please just hire me? And it was completely lost on me that some people were just struggling to get interviews. So please let me know in the comments if this is the type of content that y'all would be interested in me making at some point in time. I know it's a bit different than what I usually do, but I just wanted to let you guys know what worked for me as a Gen Z working girl who made the pivot to corporate, what tips and tricks I used to end up leveraging myself into a position I wanted. The emphasis on into a position I wanted because I decided when I started to look for work and when I decided to look for work in event management that I would not be settling in this role because that is what I had done the past 4 years in college when I was working. I just settled for whatever I could get just to build up my resume, just to get the experience. And I knew I did not want to do that when I looked for something that would be long-term employment for me. Okay, 1B, one quick second, because the way my skin already looks so much better. This is amazing. Okay, but I am getting ready for bed. So for my last step, I don't do this normally, but I am today. I'm gonna go in with the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Sleeping Mask. This is just a little sample size I got from Sephora because I didn't know how I was gonna feel about a sleep mask. I liked it, but I honestly do not use it enough to buy a large size. So this is my second sample size because I use this once a blue moon. So literally just to treat myself or whatever. I do have my spatula next to me, but I don't feel like using it. So I just poured some in the cap and we're using my hand. That's fine. It's fine. I bought it. It's okay. So yes, I was really picky with the position that I wanted to take. The 3 things that I looked for in a company during this time was 1, work-life balance, super important to me. Coming from the nonprofit sector, I was all too familiar with burnout, and I knew that is not what I wanted to do or continue doing, which is why I made a little pivot to corporate girly because no. So yes, work-life balance was extremely important to me. Second thing was I wanted a company with a culture that I meshed with and was in line with, sort of as a compatibility rating, just the kind of environment that I knew would do well for me as an employee. For example, I do not do well when I am micromanaged. So when someone would bring up what is your work style, I would say how I value the ability to work independently and freely because I do. And then the last one was opportunities for growth and professional development, because the last thing I wanted was to get pigeonholed into a role where nobody gets promoted for 3 years or nobody is offered a raise. That's not working for me either. Not that girl. That's not for me. So wrong trick, wrong chick. Absolutely not. The company I'm with now, obviously I took this position because it accommodates all 3 of those things, and I am very happy with the role that I took. To wrap things up, because I feel like we're getting a little sidetracked here, I did not find out that I had secured a new job until well into 2024. I had started interviewing with this company in about October 2023, and I thought it was going well. It seemed really promising, but then I did not so great on my last interview. I killed it the entire time during the interview process. I felt so good. I felt like I was a real contender for the position. And then my last interview, I was like, ooh, it wasn't even bad. It was just awkward, and that did not make me feel great, but I got the job, so praise the Lord. I didn't know any of this though until, as I said, well into 2024. When I first started interviewing me, they told me they wanted to get offers out before the new year, which made me feel great because I was losing my job. Offers did not go out before the new year. I did not start before the new year. I didn't start till well after the new year, but all that is fine. It's fine. It is part of the reason why I also have not been filming as much though, because in the meantime, I have just been getting acclimated in my new role. And also I have once again been in financial recovery because I didn't start seeing money in my account until February. I had not been paid in the duration of December to February. So we were riding the struggle bus a bit because I had a car note. Not had, have. I have a car note. I still have it presently. That was a lot. That was a lot. It was once again stressful, but not the utmost source of my stress because I still had also this potential medical diagnosis lingering over me. Luckily, this is from, we already went back from when I got all the first batch of bad news. I got that settled in about December. So this was about a month and a half, 2 months of my life where I was just at my wit's end from a mental perspective because that was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Like I could not deal with that. There were so many other things that I was already dealing with that I had already been taking on, but that was entirely too much. So after I got this new role and that alleviated some of the pressure, and also when I got the news from the doctor, like, you are in fact going to be okay, that also alleviated so much pressure, but that was also bittersweet And I say it was bittersweet because it's very disheartening to get literally the worst news of your life and then have somebody go, oops, our bad, like, because that's basically what happened. And I was just like, oh my God, like, this was so scary and traumatic, and then it was just an oopsie at the end of the day. But it's okay, honestly. I'm just grateful to be healthy and all right, and that I'm not currently like somewhere getting medical treatment, because that also could have been a reality. So I am deeply thankful for that, and I am deeply thankful for, even as not together as everything was, and even more so than what was disclosed in this video, that I was trying to be transparent. I can't exactly just divulge all of my personal life on the internet. I am really glad to be now on the other side of it and back making content, especially from the perspective of you can make things happen for yourself without the dynamic of the income that comes from content. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I traveled not from income that I was making as a content creator. I bought my car, this car that I really wanted, not from income that I was making as a content creator. I don't expect to see any income from content for a really long time. But I think that's why it makes financial advice for people in my position, which I feel like is most people my age, so important to have that perspective of, this is how I am managing my budget from my 9 to 5. And this is how I'm making things happen with that budget in mind. Because I see a lot of financial videos for people our age, and I do, no shade, because I'm not hating at all, but I do see a lot of influencers making them, and I just don't think it's realistic. Unless you work in tech, there are very few people our age bringing in like 10 grand a month. So with that in mind, we're not paying, $4,000 on a mortgage or $4,000 on a penthouse in rent. Like, we don't have that to be dispersing with. So just a little bit more of a realistic expectation on how I was able to do what I did and how I manage my finances, again, especially for people who are in college. I think my advice is most pertinent for them, just because I did the bulk of my saving while I was in college and I had significantly less expenses. This was like a chaotic FaceTime call that I had with one of my best friends, y'all. I'm being so serious. It was just a little all over the place. I will try to edit it in a way to make it somewhat cohesive and less of a brain dump, but also I think it's okay to have a brain dump every now and then. The rest of my content going forward is going to be a lot more structured, a lot more lifestyle content. I do want to incorporate some work content in there too, explain to y'all what event coordination is a little more in depth, show you what I put in my work bag, things of that nature. Nothing actually about my work. I will just disclose that in general. I will not be saying where I work, what I work on, any specifics, but I will give you a general overview. I will definitely go into more beauty content. Very excited about that. And more fashion content as well is something that I want to explore. In addition to the travel vlogs, in addition to the everyday vlogs, I want to start tapping into some fashion content, yes. But that is where I have been. That is what you can expect from me going forward. And ultimately, just again, a lot more transparency and consistency. Those are my goals for 2024. Trying to be transparent within reason, and then also extremely consistent. And yes, please like this video, comment what you want to see more of from me, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Hi y'all, so we're gonna call this the intro to my little maintenance vlog that I will be filming today.